This is a very important topic because everybody follows this Agile Scrum methodology. There are so many methodologies, but Agile Scrum methodology, so everybody is following now. In every company, they're following this Agile methodology. First, we need to understand what is Agile Scrum process. So, what is Scrum and Scrum team? What is sprint? What is user story? So, how to give story points? Basically, how to estimate user story. Story points is nothing but effort. How much effort you need for each user story we are going to give. So, what is the definition of done? Definition of ready? So, all these points, different sprint activities, sprint planning, backlog refinement, sprint review, sprint retrospection. So all these are different sprint activities. So what are the different activities we're going to perform? Different ceremonies of Scrum methodology. So we are going to perform. And so these are all things we are going to learn. And in the next class, once this Scrum methodology, Sdlc models are done, next I'll introduce the Scrum process, how you can maintain in the Jira tool. That I'll explain. So how can we maintain this entire Scrum process in the Jira tool? I'll show you that. So now how to create it in the I'll explain in the next week time. So this week we'll cover all Sdlc models today and tomorrow, and we'll see that. So then we are going to learn what are the epics, what is a user story. So all these terminologies we're going to learn today. And what is Agile? So Agile is one of the methodology like Sdlc process. So Sdlc we learned already. So that is one of the Sdlc process, Agile methodology, which promotes continuous iterations of development and testing throughout the software development lifecycle. So throughout the software development lifecycle, development and testing continuously it will happen. So small iterations it will keep doing. Both the development and testing activities are concurrent, okay, not like a waterfall model. So I'll tell you waterfall model also means what, but this one is all the development and testing activities continuously, concurrently it will happen. So what is Agile testing? So Agile testing means, Agile testing can begin at the start of the project, very beginning phase. Testing will start. Testing activities. Testing means testing activities like reading and understanding the requirements. That's a testing activity. And designing the test cases, another testing activity. Review of those designed test cases by either manager or business analyst, get the approval from them. This is another testing activity. Preparing the test data, another testing activity. Preparing the environment for testing. So test bed you have to prepare for testing the application. So that is another testing activity. And then performing the smoke testing, performing the execution of one by one test cases. If any bug comes, reporting the defects, and then retesting those fixed defects, then performing one round of all the test cases. Then after the bug fixes, you will do one more round of regression testing. Because once you tested, the developer started changing the code. So we don't know where it is going to affect. That's why you need to do regression testing. So once bugs are completely resolved, no bugs are there, you can say sign off. These are testing activities. So this is anywhere testing process is the same steps. So you need to tell that, and attending the meeting. All this is all your responsibilities, right? Daily. So all those testing activities will start in the beginning of the project. So with the continuous integration between development and testing. That's what Agile testing means. Agile testing begins at the start of the project. So with the continuous integration between development and testing. So Agile testing is not sequential. Sequential means so one after the other. No, it's not like that. So but continuous. So Agile team works as a single team towards a common objective of achieving quality. Like development team and testing team will call a one Scrum team, both. So if there is no development, there is no testing, we call in the Agile Scrum process. All are one team, that is Agile Scrum team. So basically it has a shorter time frames called iterations or sprint, we call that. Shorter iterations, shorter time frames is called iterations. So you have to always very less time. You are going to work with a less time. One small requirement they will take, and you have to. So from the beginning of Sdlc, you have to follow and give a sign off at the end of the sprint. The shorter time frame is called one sprint. So a shorter time frames is called one sprint in Agile testing. So there are different types of Agile methodologies are there. That is, Scrum is one of the famous methodologies. Scrum is one of the type of Agile methodology. So there is a few more also. I'll discuss in detail. So in this particularly, so in this Agile development methodology, mainly it is going to concentrate how to manage tasks within a team-based development environment. How to manage within a team-based development environment. Basically, Scrum is derived from rugby match because the players will be there and obviously they have to reach the goals, right? So the same way here, all the team members will be there and you have to achieve the target. So Scrum is basically some people will be there. There are roles. So 3 roles will be there. So what are the different roles? We'll see now. So this is the diagram. If you understand this diagram, this is the entire Scrum process. So first, the product owner is the one. Then Scrum Master. Then Scrum team. These are the 3 roles will be there in the Agile Scrum methodology. These are points you need to explain, same points. So we are following Agile Scrum methodology in our company. The sprint period is 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you need to tell. So in this 3 weeks or 2 weeks time period, so the product owner, Scrum Master, Scrum team will be there. The product owner will prepare all the requirements, or we call them user stories. Small user stories he will prepare. Or epic. Epic means a big functionality is called epic. So that epic is subdivided into many user stories. So many user stories, that epic. So the development team will take one by one from this product backlog. Product backlog is nothing but a repository where all the user stories are placed by product owner. All the user stories they will place here. So it is a kind of storage place where you can have all the user stories. That is called product backlog. So from product backlog, the first step is sprint planning, the starting day of the sprint. Sprint is nothing but, I told you, a shorter time frames is called a sprint. What is the time frame? Either 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maximum 1 month. But ideal sprint time is 2 weeks only. Ideal sprint period, 2 weeks only. This is the question they will ask. What is the time frame you are using for your sprint? What is you need to tell? 2 weeks. That means 10 days you have to wrap up everything. development and testing, you have to complete it. That's this sprint means. And first day, so sprint planning meeting will happen. So please understand the meetings, all the meetings. Sprint planning meeting will happen. In the sprint planning meeting, so you will choose the user stories. All user stories are in the product backlog. Like in the Jira, they will create all these user stories. In the Jira, they will create all the user stories. They will be in the backlog, product backlog. Now you need to bring this to particular sprint. The sprint will be there. For that sprint, you have to choose which user story. User story means what? A small function or small functionality, small requirement, new requirement. So that it will be chosen in the sprint planning meeting. So all the team members will be there, right? The sprint starting day, every team member, they will assign each user story for one team member. For developers, user stories will be assigned, and for the same user story, for the testing team also, they will assign what you need to do. As a tester, what you want to do. All your task again, I'm repeating, what is your tester tasks? Analyzing and understanding the requirements. I already just explained before starting. Again, I'm repeating. Anywhere you go, you have to talk your tasks only. If they ask you, analyzing and understanding the requirements. Second step, designing the test cases. This is the tester responsibility. And next, once you design, you should ask to review those test cases by product owner or development team members. Any one of them, you have to get approval from them. After that, once review is done, you prepare test data also. While test cases preparation itself, you will prepare test data. You already done that. Then you will prepare the environment. Then you'll start executing the test cases, reporting the defects. So retesting the defects, regression testing, sign off. So this is the same process. If automation is there, we'll start this automation test cases. That's the sprint planning meeting. So that tester activities I'm telling. So that same, the every activity they will create a user story here. So that user story it will assign to you as a tester. As a tester point of view, I'm talking. For a development team, okay, developer has to develop the feature, right? So they will assign that user story to developer also. That is what is happening in the sprint planning meeting day, first day. And also estimates will happen. Estimates means, okay, how much effort you require to complete this user story. You have to give number of days. Story points is nothing but effort required to complete the user story or task. So that's the first day it will happen. Then task breakout, that's called sprint backlog. The sprint backlog means they assign the task to you with a Jira story. So then what will happen? That task will break out. So this task, what are the different small tasks you are performing under that? You will break down. That is called sprint backlog meeting will happen. There you will break down all your tasks assigned to you into small tasks. That is called subtask, we call this. Then they'll just give like perform the testing activities for this particular user story. So that all testing activities you will break down. Analysis, designing the test cases, preparing the test data, reviewing that. These are all subtasks you will create for under that. That's a breakdown of your tasks. Then that's a Scrum team will perform the tasks that are assigned to them. That's a Scrum team responsibility. So what is Scrum Master will do? Scrum Master also will be there in the sprint planning meeting. Product owner, Scrum Master, all the team members will be there in the sprint planning day. And Scrum Master and Product Owner combinedly discuss and assign all the tasks to team members. So once they are assigned, so it will start every day. Daily Scrum meeting will be there. Every 24 hours, daily Scrum meeting. See, this is the point you need to talk. What you have done yesterday, just 15 to 20 minutes will be there Scrum meeting, not more than that. So what you have done yesterday, what you are going to do today, any blockers are there. These 3 points only you need to talk. So that's a Scrum meeting means. You should not deviate from that. Then, so every day this meeting will be there. Daily Scrum meeting. Daily means every day, 15 to 20 minutes maximum. If small people, 5 minutes it is finished, they'll close the meeting. Nothing is there to discuss, they'll close the meeting. All the team members has to give the status and it will be closed. That's how quick. So you are not going to do any other thing, just discussing about points. Each person is working or not, they will check. So you cannot escape, right? So that's a Scrum meeting means. That's why I'm conducting that for you guys. Understand what you did yesterday, that task name you have to give. Like creating the test cases for so and so feature and gone through this particular topic and understand this topic. So these are your tasks, what you are done. And what you are going to do. Today you are going to learn or reviewing the few more old topics. So are performing the testing on particular feature. You can talk that, or I'm continuing a test case execution on this feature. You can talk like that. Or retesting I'm going to do today. Some bugs are fixed and I'm going to retest on this build. You have to talk all these terminologies in the meetings. Then any blockers are there if you are not able to test your environment down or so some reason you are not able to proceed your testing activity. You inform in the meeting itself so that tomorrow they won't blame you. So that's you have to be very careful. So you have to talk more on this. Okay, so that's a Scrum meeting means. Then so days will continue, keep doing every day that one. That is Scrum Master will take that data from you, the stand up. Who will conduct? Scrum Master will conduct that meeting. Even Product Owner also will present in the meetings. So all the team must be present in the meetings. And then there is a last before day sprint review meeting will happen. All the meetings understand here. First sprint planning meeting, sprint backlog meeting, daily Scrum meeting, sprint review meeting. In the sprint review meeting, your task will be reviewed by Scrum Master and Product Owner, how much you have completed. So they won't leave you. You're just telling, they won't believe. So how much is pending? Every day they will keep on asking. You cannot bluff them also. So this is a very strictly followed by every day. Every day task means you will scare and you will do the task. If you're not performing, and they won't accept it, and you will be out of the team. So you will be out of the team, and you're not going to be in the team if you're not performing any tasks. So the review meeting, the assigned tasks, where are we? They will ask. The Scrum Master will ask, okay, so Josna, where are we in this task I assigned to you? So have you completed? How much you have completed? Still how much is pending? That will be reviewed. In daily Scrum meeting, they will ask. But at the same time, the last before day, the review meeting also, clearly you have to show. So is it ready for the demo? The next day, the final day, you have to give a demo to all the developers, product owners, and you should give a demo to them, and you should accept your story by product owner and Scrum Master. If product owner accepts your story, then you have successfully completed your task. That is, even development team, they will explain what they did, what the code they have written, and they will give a demo how it is working. All this will given by development team. And at the same time, what you did also in the whole week, in the 10 days time period, you have to show the demo in that demo meetings. So nobody escapes here. That's what I am telling you. I haven't done anything means they won't accept it. Why you didn't do? I assigned a task, why you haven't done? So that's going to be serious problem for you guys. So like this today, I did like this. I did, no, it won't be accepted. Please understand the very strict process. This one. That's Agile Scrum methodology means. So there is no laziness here. So one day if you relax, that doesn't work out in the Agile Scrum methodology. Okay, so that's the last day, the finishing day. The tomorrow sprint ends means that day all the people will gather. Different Scrum teams also will be there. You are not the only one. All the other Scrum teams also, maybe different project Scrum teams also. In one project, there are many verticals will be there. Many different Scrum meetings will be there. Scrum teams will be there. Each Scrum team, their own features they are developing. Your Scrum team is telling your own features. This is a small project, small like module, right? Like that, multiple Scrum teams will be there. So all will gather in this demo day, last final day, and you have to give a demo on the task. So the performed by each team member. So then on the same day, the next meeting is sprint retrospection meeting will happen with the team members. So each team member, they have to give what went well. So in the entire this 10 days, 15 days time period, what went well? You're able to successfully finish the tasks, and what went well. Then what went wrong? So something so doesn't work, some dependency will be there, that's why you are not able to finish, that other person not responded properly, that's why your task you are not able to complete, and that's why it is moving to next sprint, right? This is the what went wrong, you have to tell that clearly. So any improvements, any action items, so that any nowadays they are adding one more point, accolades, like rewards. So you will give some, some one of your team member helped you, so to come out of the blockers, and you can give a accolades for him. See, so Venkatesh helped you to solve your problem, so you can give. So Venkatesh helped me, so very helpful, and I'm giving a kudos to him. So that's the how you can talk. So in this retrospection meeting, basically in this 15 days time period, what went well, all are able to finish the task, all are able to complete the user stories. That means that's a good achievement for the team as a team. And then what went wrong means anything bad happened, not working properly something, or your environments are not supporting for you for your testing. So those all things you can talk. Okay, so that's what went wrong, and any improvements, any action items on particular person, right? That action items also you can talk. And also, so any recognitions, because your team member is helping you to complete your task, you can raise, okay, you can talk, okay, so and so person helped me, so I'm giving a recognition to him. We can talk like that. So this is the last meeting, retrospection meeting. Then that sprint will be ended. It's a 15 days time period. These are all meetings will happen, and you're performing tasks. So that's a whole Agile Scrum process. So in this Agile Scrum process, a lot of terminologies we need to understand here. So Scrum Master is responsible for setting up the team, conducting the sprint meetings, daily Scrum meetings, and any blockers are there, he will help you to move forward for you. So any right blockers are there, he will help you go and talk to this person, and he will help you so to continue your testing. So that's a Scrum Master responsibility. Product owner responsibilities: preparing the user stories, preparing the product backlog. He will create the product backlog. So product backlog is nothing but so basically application requirements will be prepared by product owner or product manager, or something we call them, right? That's it. So Scrum team means both development and testing team is called Scrum team, and they will do the tasks. Whatever the task assigned to them, they will perform the task within that sprint time period only. That's a Scrum team, what they will do. So product backlog means, just now I told you, it's a repository where all the requirements will be placed. That's called product backlog. So all the requirements are placed in this product backlog. So different phases of, as I mentioned, anywhere this is the common testing process in the Scrum methodology also. Like first, analysis of the requirements or user stories, we call that, right? User stories are used for development of test cases. User stories are written by the product owner. User stories are short description of functionalities of the system under test. Example for insurance provider is premium can be paid using online system. This was not there previously. Now you are developing only one feature. This is the small functionality you are developing now, and you are going to prepare test cases for that. You are going to test. Development team will develop the code. Testing team will design the test cases for that user. So like I have given to you guys, place an order. That's one user story. Registration, one user story. Login, one user story. Like that, small requirements, they will prepare as user stories. And test cases are developed based on user stories, which should be reviewed and approved by either a business analyst or product owner. So, and customers and your QA manager also. They have to approve whether you have written correctly or not. Otherwise, how do you know? How do you ensure that those are approved, those are correct or not? That's why review is mandatory after test case design. So this is the point you have to mandatorily. That's why I given second point. So we will telling this is the one task and this is the second task. Next, test case execution. In between that, your lab preparation will be there. So test case execution is carried out on the test environment. So both the tester and developer will work hand in hand and to complete the test case execution. So any defects are raised, you can log the defects in the defect tracking tool, and daily they will be tracked on daily basis. So what is the each defect task status? Each defect, which status it is there, and that will be tracked there in the, and you can discuss in the Scrum meetings also these defects. Then once the defects are fixed, so you have to retest them. As soon as it is fixed and deployed for testing, you have to retest them. So retesting you have to do, and then regression testing you will perform, and then no bugs are there, you will sign off. Then if there is automation, you have to prepare the automation test cases also. So prepare the automation test cases, run first locally in the Eclipse or any IDE tool or IntelliJ, any IDE tool, you run the automation test cases. Then you get it reviewed by your test code. If it is working, you get it reviewed by your team senior members, and then you merge the code in the GitHub. So that's what we are doing now, right? So all the automation test code we have written, that code we are going to place. It should not be in your system. The code should go to a common place that is called GitHub repository. You are going to store their code. From there, the CI pipeline. So we'll pick up your code, and first build will create. On that build, your automation test case will run automatically by Jenkins tool. That I'll show you in the framework is going on now. I'll show you that how to do that in the Jenkins, how we can run. So that all the process, the same process will be there in any company you go. This is a complete process. And so sprint meeting, I told you again, sprint meeting, a stand-up meeting, we call different people will call differently. Daily stand-up meeting, daily scrum meetings. This is both are all are same. Okay, so this is the one you are talking last 24 hours task, what you performed, you have to talk. Plan for next 24 hours. What are all the obstructions of the tasks? So these 3 points only you have to talk. Daily 15 minutes meeting. So what is sprint burn down chart means? Sprint burn down chart means, so basically a scrum master will record the estimated remaining work for the current sprint. So how much the remaining work is pending, that he will record every day. That is called sprint burn down charts. It is going to be updated by Scrum Master daily. He will prepare. Okay, so for total sprint, 80 hours is allocated. In the 80 hours, how many hours you worked on that task? So that he will record every day. Okay, that's called burn down chart. So these are the some of the Agile terminology you will come to know. Product backlog. So it's a user stories will be placed here. It's a repository where all the user stories are placed here. For any sprint, user stories will be picked up from the product backlog, and you will work on those user stories. Epic. What is meant by epic? It is a complete feature or requirement which needs to be implemented. Epic is a bigger one. Okay, epic is a bigger function. That epic will be converted into multiple user stories. So an epic is split into user stories based on the complexity or work involved in order to develop it. User story is generally part of epic. So user story is part of epic. So you are developing one big functionality that is called one epic. Under that, small features, right? Like a place and order, registration. These are all user stories. So these are all linked to epic. So it's the how you can develop epics and user stories. Epic is a big functionality. So user story means small functionality. Is called user story. What is your story point? Story point is nothing but an effort required to complete the assigned task in a given sprint. That is the story point. It is a measurement to define the complexity of user story from day one QA perspective. This activity will be done in sprint planning meeting only. How much effort required to complete? That you will give in the story points wise. Like story points will be given in the Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series numbers, right? So 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, like that. So user stories will be given by story points. That's effort. So small user stories means one day you can finish one user story point you can do. 2 points means maybe so 2 days you will take. 3 means 4 or 5 days you will take. 5 means 10 days you need to complete the entire story. That's a story point how people will give for each task, each user story that is assigned to you. Burn down chat. So burn down chat is nothing but a pictorial graph representation of time and work. So this is drawn with the help of the time spent on tasks along with the work. Team need to burn the hours on daily basis for the work accomplished against the tasks. How much time you spent today, that you have to log in your task, your Jira task. So then your Scrum Master will take that and he will map that properly. Then graph will be shown to us. How much time so you are working on that particular task, you have to record it. So that's a complete Agile Scrum process and the terminologies you are going to use in the Agile Scrum process. So the Agile process I told you already. So basically meetings we discussed already. Agile meetings. So sprint review meeting is conducted at the end of the sprint to discuss the progress. Where does the team stand for that sprint? So this is the optional meeting is conducted based on the project and companies as per requirement. Sprint retrospection meeting is conducted. So what are all the meetings you will be seen in the sprint model? I'm just explaining Agile Scrum process. And retrospection meeting, we just spoke about that. Then defect triage meeting is conducted to review and have a proper action on the defects. Dev team, testing team, and sometimes the product owner also will be involved in this defect triage meeting. So what is a defect triage meeting? Basically, you will explain to development team, and you will discuss where are we about this defect. That's what discussed on this defect triage meeting. Sprint planning meeting. So as I mentioned clearly, this is the first meeting in the Agile Scrum methodology. So anywhere the sprint is starting, the planning meeting will happen, and they will be chosen all the user stories and estimated on that day. That's the sprint planning meeting. Okay. So advantages of Agile Scrum methodology is customer satisfaction by rapid continuous delivery of useful software. Working software, but the small software they are developing and releasing to the customer, so that way he will be happy. So shorter time period he is seeing the product instead of long time period. In a shorter period he is able to see that. That's why you can. So he will be very happy. The working software is delivered frequently, weeks rather than months. So weekly release are expected if any large requirements are split into so that development and testing is completed in the week schedule. Sometimes a week also, 1 week also they will take. Basically 2 weeks is the ideal sprint time period. So not sometimes they will take 1 week also. Some companies, that's a different Agile methodology. This Agile Scrum methodology is ideal time is 2 weeks. Some companies will follow 3 weeks, some companies will follow 4 weeks, but not more than that. So customers, developers, and testers constantly interact with each other. Daily, they will interact. So that if any doubts are there on the requirements also, you can get it clarified on the same day. Daily cooperation between business people and developers. That's a advantage here. So disadvantage is sometimes in Agile methodology, the requirement is not very clear. Hence, it is difficult to predict the expected result. So in few of the project, at starting of the software development lifecycle, it's difficult to estimate the actual effort required. So you cannot give how much time required, you cannot give immediately. That's one of the difficult tasks. Because of ever evolving features, there is always a risk of the so when it is going to finish the project. So because keep going this every 15 days again new sprint will start. For complex projects, the resource requirement and effort are difficult to estimate. How many resources required and how much effort required for each sprint. It's a bigger task for the Scrum Master and product owners. So there are some of the metrics are there. Let's discuss these metrics also. What is Agile velocity? It's one of the metric. Okay, one of the metric. So Agile velocity is a metric that predicts how much work an Agile software development team can successfully complete within a 2 weeks sprint. So within a 2 weeks sprint, how much work you have completed in a particular sprint. That is called Agile velocity. So Agile velocity is nothing but a useful metric for estimating how fast work can be completed, how long it will take to complete a project. So the estimation they can easily do. So for example, So one user story. So there is a one user story. So in the product backlog, there are 300 story points are there total. So in the product backlog means all the user stories, right? Total 300 are there. So team is averaging 30 story points per sprint. So team is finishing 30 story points per sprint. Each person five story points like that. So based on the number of people, 30 story points they're able to finish a per sprint. Then it can be estimated that team members will require 10 more sprints to complete the entire project, right? 300 story points are there in the product backlog. Per sprint, you are finishing only 30 story points. Then how many sprints you need? 10 sprints you need, right? So 10 sprints you need to complete the entire work. If each sprint lasts 2 weeks, then the project will last 20 more weeks, right? So if a team member is moved to another project, however, or new members are added, the velocity must be recalculated. So this is how now the Agile velocity will be calculated. So the number of total story points finished in particular sprint is called Agile velocity. Agile velocity is just a metric. How much a team gets done in particular sprint. So that is called Agile velocity. So basically, the story points are given in the Fibonacci series numbers. So what is a story point? It's an effort required to complete a story, to finish the story, user story or requirement. That is called story point. So all these points they will ask, please keep in mind. So this is the Fibonacci series sequence will be given for the story points. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. These are the Fibonacci series numbers. These numbers are called story points, or otherwise they will give like this also. X small, medium, large, extra large. So these keywords also they will use for the story points. Not only Fibonacci series, this is also valid story points. So 1, 2, these things won't, 4 won't be there, but 1, 2, 3, 5 Fibonacci series only will be there. Okay, that's a story points means. That's all about all the story points and Agile velocity and all. Say small story 1 to 3 days you can give. Medium 3 to 5 days, large 5 to 7 days, extra large 10 days. So this is how you will give the story points. Okay, that's all about Agile Scrum methodology means.